Good evening. We don't know who it was exactly, but when a bomb went off in Iraq yesterday, one of the 4 American soldiers who died became number 4,000. That soldier won't be mourned any differently. His death isn't more meaningful than any of the other American lives lost in Iraq. They all volunteered for duty and proudly wore the uniform of their country. They all leave loved ones behind without them. The truth is, these benchmarks, like this death toll, are tracked by the media and politicians as one way of telling the human story of this war, which has gone on now longer than World War II. It's where we begin here tonight with our Pentagon correspondent, Jim Miklaszewski. Jim, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. This latest number on U.S. casualties in Iraq comes amid a recent and in some cases dramatic increase in the violence against Americans and Iraqis alike. The sobering statistic was reached yesterday when, like most U.S. fatalities, 4 American soldiers were killed by a roadside bomb. In Washington today, President Bush expressed his sympathy for all 4,000 U.S. war dead and a determination to achieve victory in Iraq.
I have vowed in the past, and I will vow so long as I'm president, to make sure that those lives were not lost in vain.
But despite dramatic reductions in violence under the current surge operation, there are early warning signs some progress may be unraveling. As the U.S. begins the withdrawal of American forces from Baghdad, the U.S. death toll has steadily risen. In January, 10 out of 40 American fatalities were killed in Baghdad province. In February, it climbed to 13 out of 29. And so far this month, 16 out of 27 U.S. military who have died in Iraq were killed in Baghdad. If that trend continues, it could slow down future troop withdrawals from Iraq.
Okay, fellas, let's go.
General David Petraeus, the top U.S. commander in Iraq, already plans to bring 5 American combat brigades home by the end of July.
This is going to be a complicated process. We're already cutting 25% of our combat power in Iraq this year, according to the schedule. I doubt very much we will reduce much more than that.
It's also estimated that nearly 100,000 Iraqis, military and civilian, have been killed in the war, just as there's been a dramatic spike in sectarian violence. U.S. military officials say 69 Iraqis were killed in sectarian violence last week, up from 22 killed the week before.
The sectarian hatreds aren't going to diminish for another 100 years. And so what we've got temporarily is both the Shia and the Sunni are waiting for the next phase of the civil war.
Now, despite these recent spikes, the level of violence in Iraq is down dramatically since that surge operation began a year ago. But military officials are predicting there'll probably be a series of even more spectacular attacks before General Petraeus makes his recommendations on Iraq to Congress in 2 weeks. And we're told, Brian, that General Petraeus will not be ready to recommend any further troop cuts beyond July.
Jim Miklaszewski outside the Pentagon for us tonight. Jim, thanks. This new number, 4,000 Americans dead in Iraq, may come as a surprise to some Americans without a direct stake in this war. Recent surveys showed only 1 in 3 people on average knows how many have died in the Iraq war thus far. But if you are among the families with a direct stake in this war, then you know. Here's NBC's Mike Taibbi.
The funerals go on in places like El Paso, Texas, where friends and family grieve for Sergeant Daniel Bill Skates, who went to Iraq a 3rd time and, last August, died in a booby-trapped house south of Baghdad.
We've lost a brother, a husband, a son, a father, and most of all, a damn good friend.
Those the common and profound thoughts of loss for a wife and 5 children mourning the death of 27-year-old Missouri National Guardsman Matthew Stoddard, killed last month. And for the friends of 40-year-old Major Alan Rogers, who came together 10 days ago at Arlington National Cemetery. Rogers, the Army his life, giving that life to another Baghdad bomb weeks earlier. Whatever the American public knows or doesn't know, and cares or doesn't care about the war, a fallen soldier's family knows an incalculable loss. Skates' wife Raquel and daughters Jade and Kendra lost the man of the house, a career soldier his wife called a true American hero.
He was trying to protect the whole United States. I would like people to know that. That even if he didn't know you, he was trying to take care of you.
We'd met Bill Skates in the first weeks of the war, on a day when he was trying to deal with a tragic mistake. An innocent Iraqi family ran a checkpoint, a daughter and husband mistakenly gunned down. Skates had come face to face with the mother who survived.
I had to look at her in the eyes. You know, I felt so horrible for her.
He re-upped after that first tour, not once, but twice.
You're good to go again?
I'm good to go. I'm ready to go back. You know, this is my job. It's what I do.
But before his last tour, was worried.
He said he had several dreams that he knew that he just wasn't going to make it back this time.
So now, a wife holds fast to just the sweetest memories, like his pickup line the day they met a dozen years ago.
He said some ugly girl was chasing him around, and he wanted to know if I'd pretend I'd be his girlfriend.
And daughter Jade shows off her scrapbook about Daddy.
Did you choose all the pictures?
Too young to be fully aware, she will only know her father through these memories. The end for 4,000 American warriors now, and a diminished and different life for their loved ones.
Because just in one day, my whole life changed.
No question in their wounded hearts about how many have been lost, and about how much has been lost. Mike Taibbi, NBC News, New York.